Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Kaylee and these are my books. Today's video should be a really fun one because I am filming my Bookoplathon dice rolls for Bookopoly. If all of those words sound like nonsense for you, I'll leave some links for you to check out in the description. This is basically a readathon that Becca in the Books does on her channel, and she does a TBR game each month called Bookopoly, and she lets everyone do it for the month of September, and we just kind of all do our rolls together. We get our prompts when we read together for the month of September. I've never participated in it before, but I'm very excited. I actually made the board that Becca gives out. She gave out a printable version, but I drew the board myself, so I was having a lot of fun with that, and I am ready now to do my dice rolls. So in Becca's TBR game, she normally does 5 dice rolls. That's a little bit low for me because getting 5 dice rolls could result in only getting 5 books. However, if you roll doubles, then you have to add a book. So 5 dice rolls could mean more than 5 books also. But I wanted to add some drama. So the way I'm going to determine how many dice rolls I do and therefore how many times around the board I go, I have a random number generator here. I'll try to give you a close-up so you can see it. And I have the numbers 5 through 12 here. So I'm gonna start at 5, but I'm gonna randomly generate a number between 5 and 12. And those will be how many dice rolls I start with. So let's see, I'll show you. Let's hit generate. And we got 5. We only got 5. Okay, well that is quite lucky. So I am only doing 5 dice rolls. And again, if we get doubles, we might have to add in some more books. But for now, we're starting at a base level of 5 dice rolls. All right, hello, welcome to my board. I made this. Not all the spaces are equal spaced out. I mean, you can see we got some skinny ones, we got some big ones. Let's just pretend it's all even. But I think it doesn't look too bad. I think it's cute. I wanted to show you before we begin what I put on my cards. So I have 4 cards with the community shelf and 4 cards with the chance. And for the community shelf, these are prompts. So we have, for each of these, I did 2 good ones and 2 bad ones. So my 2 bad ones to get in here are a random generator book, because that's scary, it could be anything, and a scary book. And by scary book, I don't mean horror book, I just mean a book that I am scared to read. So maybe it's really long, maybe I don't think I'll like it, just something I'm scared to read. And then the 2 happy ones are a required read, so I'm participating in a lot of book months in September, so if I pull this, I can choose a book month book, a book club book, I mean. And then if I choose this one, a KU book, KU books are usually pretty fast reads for me, so that's a happy one. So I'll just shuffle these back up. And then for chance, I did the same thing, but chance are actually book titles. So the ones that are happy in chance are the ones that I need to read this month no matter what. So the 2 happy ones are City of Brass and Dragon Mage, 2 books I already need to read. And then the 2 sad ones are books I want to read, but these were chosen by a random generator on my bookshelf. So these are just random picks, that's why they're sad ones. So it randomly chose The Burning God, which was awesome for me because I really want to read this book. I just don't know if I'll have time in September. And then it randomly chose The Stardust Thief. So those are what's on all of my cards. I'm gonna mix these back up again. And basically, I don't have dice. That's the only bad part about this. I do not have dice. So I am going to be using a little app on my tablet. I keep wanting to call it an iPad. It is not an iPad. So for our first roll, let's roll the dice. All right, we got 9. I'm using this little key right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Teddy, can you not go on the board, please? So our first prompt is buildings. All right, so my first roll was buildings, which basically means pick a book that has any kind of building on the front cover. So I am going with The Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda. This has a house on the front cover, so it definitely works for the building prompt. I recently hauled this, and I think this is a great pick for September because we're going into the spooky season, having a nice thriller. I've only read one thriller by Megan Miranda, but I really enjoyed it, and her covers always call to me. Just the colors that she uses on the covers are, I love it. I always love her covers. So I'm excited to read this one. The other book I read was an audiobook, so this is my first book that I actually own by Megan Miranda physically, so it's about time I actually read it. All right, the next dice roll. We got 8, and I am going to switch the board around so that way you can see the prompts better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Community shelf. All right, let's see. We'll choose the top one. Is it a happy or a sad one? I don't know yet. Sad, random generator. Okay, that's kind of fun though. Then we landed on community shelf, which made me draw a card, and the card I drew was a mean card where it was just a randomly generated book. So basically I took all the shelves on my TBR shelf, gave it each a number, picked out a shelf based off of that random number, and then numbered all of the books on that shelf and picked out another randomly generated number to determine the book. So it's completely random, the book it chose. And I'm a little bit sad about what it chose. It chose You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. This is a book I got from Afterlight, which is a subscription box that Illumicrate does, and they send out contemporary romance books. It's a very pretty book. And it has a yellow cover too, which is very cool. I'm not in the mood to read this right now. I think this is a very emotional romance book. It's not like a fun rom-com. From my understanding, it's more of a literary fiction romance book. And I think it's gonna be very emotionally impactful. I think it's gonna be hard-hitting. And I'm not really in the mood to read something like that. But this is the book that got chosen for me, so I will be reading it. Hopefully I end up liking it. Next dice roll. Oh, it was a double, so we're gonna have to do another one after this. So this is our third dice roll. We were originally starting with 5, now we have 6 total dice rolls. So we got an 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. An autumn book. So we got on the autumn spot. The next prompt that we landed on was autumn, and autumn basically means any book that gives you autumn vibes. So Becca gives advice of saying maybe a spooky book, maybe a mystery book, and that's what I went for. I went for Ruth Ware's It Girl. This definitely gives me autumn vibes. It even has the gold bronzy color that I normally associate with autumn. And this is Gabby from Gabby Reads and Kayla from Books and Lala. They're doing a joint live show for both of their book clubs where both of their picks are It Girl for September. So I definitely wanted to read this in September anyways, and it perfectly fits the autumn prompt. This is Ruth Ware's newest thriller, and I believe it is about a murder that takes place on a college campus. I love a school setting, I love a murder, so I think this book is going to be a home run for me. Now for our 4th dice roll. We got 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Chance. We keep landing on the cards. Okay, let's see. City of Brass. It's a good one. It has a happy face. That means I needed to read this anyways. Okay, City of Brass. Then we got a chance card, and we actually got a happy card, which means I got to pick a card of a book that I was already planning on reading this month, and that is The City of Brass. Unfortunately, my copy is missing the dust jacket. I can't hold it up this way because it gives you no details, but I promise this is City of Brass. This is a fantasy book that a ton of people love. I'm incredibly excited to finally read this. It is a trilogy, and it's well loved by everyone. I don't think I've seen a single bad review of this book. I think there is some romance that happens in this book, but it's more of a fantasy, not a fantasy romance, which is fine by me. And I believe we learned the magic system with the characters, which is one of my favorite tropes in a book. So overall, I am very excited for this book. I'm very happy I at least got one nice card. Time for our 5th dice roll. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Community shelf. Oh my god. We keep landing on the cards. So what's this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Chance. We keep landing on the cards. So what's this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, A scary book. Oh, it has a sad face on it. Then we landed on Community Shelf again, and we got the other bad card. There's only 4 Community Shelf cards, and we got the two bad ones. So the second bad one was a scary book, and this is basically read a book that intimidates me or scares me in some way. And I am choosing Dragon Mage for this card. So Dragon Mage is a book that I did have to read in September, so I'm a little bit cheating because I was going to read it anyways, but I am terrified of this book. It is a very long indie fantasy book, and Covers with Cassidy recently read it and she didn't love it. There are a lot of people who do love this book though, so I'm hoping I fall more in the opinion of the people that loved it. But I'm just nervous because it's so long and Cassidy didn't like it. I'm like, oh, do I want to dedicate this much time to a book I might not like? But I'm still going in with an open mind. I am loving the concept of reading a book about dragons. I don't think I've read a lot of dragon books, which is kind of crazy because I read a ton of fantasy, but dragons are not actually that common in fantasy books, believe it or not. So I'm excited that this has dragons in it. I'm just scared of the length of it pretty much. And then as long as we don't get doubles, this is our last dice roll. We did not get doubles, so 8. That is our last dice roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, dice roll roulette. So for dice roll roulette, we have to roll these 2 dice, and based on how many numbers on the dice we get, it corresponds with a target of how many pages the book we select should be. So let's see what we get. All right, 7. And a 7 on the dice corresponds to a 325 page to a 374 page book, which is almost all books between 325 and 374. So that's a good one. And the last dice roll we did landed us on that dice roulette space, which gave us a book to pick out that's between 324 and 374 pages. And I am picking There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. This is 350, so right in the middle of the page span. And this I am so excited for because Sophie Lark, I have not yet read her Brutal Birthright series for this month, but I am starting Brutal Prince today as I'm filming this. I'm starting it today. And There Are No Saints is not one of her mafia romance books, but from what I understand, it's serial killer / kidnapping romance. So a very dark romance. I think there's serial killers in it. There's definitely stalkers in here. So they're being stalked, there's kidnapping, there's lines being crossed, and it's just about this toxic romance, dark romance, and I am here for it. So here is my Bookopoly TBR. In addition to these books, I also have Dragon Mage and There Are No Saints on top of this, but here's my stack of the physical books that I own already. And I think it was pretty nice to me. I mean, I was ready to possibly do 12 rolls, so only doing 6 rolls, that's pretty good. I will say though that a lot of these books are quite long, especially considering Dragon Mage I think is nearly 800 pages. So while I only have 6 books here, the 6 books are not short. I mean, we have a couple fantasies in here. The Ruth Ware book is actually quite long for a thriller too. So I think I'm going to be able to get this done, but it's not as easy as I was originally anticipating for only having 6 rolls. The only book there's 2 books I'm scared of. I'm scared of Dragon Mage, but I'm also scared of this book as well. I don't know if I will like it. I think hopefully I will. It could surprise me. It's just really not a book I'm in the mood to pick up right now. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous for it. But overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you're participating in Bookoplathon, and if you've done your rolls already, what books are you going to read in this month? And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give me a like and subscribe for more content. Bye!